Hey, what's up everyone out there? My name is Jeremy Kennedy with theawarenessrevolution.com. Today I'm going to be giving you a breakdown of some of the lies and truth about the rich people. I'm going to be going over this post that I saw shared online. It's racist and communist propaganda. I'm surprised to see it in my news feed, but that's why I'm covering it today. Because this is getting more and more common. In fact, it was even shared by my aunt, who obviously is also white. So it's kind of strange for her to be posting something about evil white people, right? And you'll see there's racism all throughout this. And the author of this post is also white. So I don't know if this is some sort of new virtue signaling, is white people calling all the other white people racist, but I don't know if they just assume that they're excluded from that. It's like, oh, you know, I'm a white person, so all you other white people are racist. Not me, of course, but all the other ones. It makes no sense. So let's go ahead and look at it. Alright, so let's look at the title of this post. What working class and poor white people need to understand about rich white people. So, I mean, we're already creating division here between the poor and middle class and the rich people and, you know, white people amongst other white people. I'm not sure why race needed to be thrown around so much in this, but you'll see they touch on a lot of different topics. And somehow racism connects them all. So I'm going to break this down and I'm going to give you a little bit of facts and statistics about white people, not white people, but about welfare and about rich people is what I meant to say. So they start off with rich people do not care about you, and it's highlighted. So here's the thing about that is, you know, whenever you lump people together in a group and then, you know, I mean, that's prejudice. You know, that's no different than saying, you know, all black people are bad, or black people don't care about you, or poor people don't care about you, or anything like that. You know, whenever you're throwing all these people into a group, I mean, how can that be ethical, right? So from the get-go, this is already lumping all rich people together as if they all have the same views, as if every single rich person is against poor people, when that's just a broad paintbrush to paint their picture with, and it really says a lot about the author, in my opinion. But because this is so common and getting even more common, even though it's ridiculous, I'm gonna give my 2 cents. So, you know, they're talking about, you know, they're not talking about a little bit of rich, they're talking about a lot of rich. You know, they're talking about the Walton family, and of course they name the Trumps. So, you know, this is one of the big red flags immediately. You know, we're in the first paragraph and they're already mentioning Trump. Trump was in the thumbnail of a plane that said Trump on it was in the thumbnail of the post. So this is obviously political. This is they have a political agenda here. And so, you know, so there's a racism thing, which has been a big part of the anti-Trump agenda, lumping him together in racism, which I just found out 2 days ago that his ex-girlfriend, Kara Young, I think her name is actually mixed, which is a lot of people consider black. But anyway, they're saying that they don't care about you. So, you know, basically they're saying, you know, the Waltons are worth $50 billion and their employees are collecting food stamps to survive, and it's saying loud and clear, I don't care about you. I'm leaving out the cuss word, trying to be polite here. And then they go into Donald Trump. You know, I don't even really, you know, I'm not even going to go there. Alright, so here's another fallacy that they quickly get to. Creating jobs isn't to be praised. What this author is saying is creating well-paying jobs is. So then they go on to say, you know, I'll pay you $1 an hour to clean my house, do lawn care and general maintenance, blah, blah, blah. Have I contributed anything to society? No. Did I boost the economy? No. All I did is put one person in poverty. Wait. Whoa, stop. Let's just stop it right there. All right. So you didn't put anyone in poverty. Anyone who is willing to accept $1 an hour for their labor is already in poverty. So let's just get that out in the front immediately. All right. Now, I already did a video on how capitalism prevents underpaid labor for minorities and women. And, a lot of people, they complain about the whole greed factor, but the whole thing is the greed factor is what regulates prices and everything else. Because if one person is charging too much for a product or service, another person can come along and offer the same product or service for less because the other person's overcharging. And the same thing happens for labor. Labor is a market, and if one person's not hiring this person for the value of their labor, then another person can come in and say, hey, this person is worth more than that, I'll pay them more than that. But anyways, so what keeps a person from taking a job for $1 an hour? Well, they're worth more than $1 an hour. If I were to offer you a job for $1 an hour, I'm pretty sure you would not take it. Why? Because you have better opportunities. Why would you work for $1 an hour when you have other places that you could work and make more money? The reason why we work at a job isn't because we just feel like getting exploited over the next 6 months, 12 months, or 12 years, or however long we have the job. It's because we need money, and and we take the job that offers us the best opportunity. So employers aren't exploiting the workers. That's just a communist propaganda straight from Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto. What employers are doing is offering people the best opportunity they have available. So, when you look for a job, what are you looking for? The one that's going to exploit you the most and offer you the least? Or are you looking for the best opportunity? You choose the best opportunity available to you. So we have to get that straight up front about the employee and employer relationship. The next argument, again, keeping with the theme of rich white people are evil, which also includes Donald Trump. So, this is the narrative, just to make that crystal clear. But it says black and brown people are not the reason you're poor. Who said that they are? Who said that they... What kind of subtitle is this? Rich white people are the reason you're poor. Okay, and then they go into corporations siphon money from profits to share with stockholders. But, this is... What are they talking about? Siphon money from profits? So the people who fund the business shouldn't get a share of the profits? Or wait, they should fund the business. They should take all the risk of whether the business succeeds or fails, but they shouldn't get any profits. That doesn't make any sense. So what they're basically saying is that, again, the CEOs exploit the workers. Again, this is communist stuff. When you have a job, let's say when you don't have a job, and then you finally get a job, are you happy? Or are you sad? Are you like, oh, good, I got a job? Or are you like, damn, this person's going to be exploiting me? Oh, you know what I mean? So, which one is it in your life, in your case? Is this lady mad whenever she has a job? Does she even have a job? Has she ever had a job and does she feel like that? The thing is if you can create more value on your own, then go and do it. Create your own business. It's never been easier, even with all the government regulation. It's never been easier. It's you can create an online business for under $100. There's just so much opportunity out there. And if you are complaining about your company not paying you enough, my question to you is, what are you doing to add more value to the company? What are you doing in your spare time? How much do you read? How much have you ever read Think and Grow Rich? Do you read any personal development books? Do you take any extracurricular online courses, classes? Have you told the manager that you're wanting more money? That you want to move up the manager, and if you want to move up to be a manager, then have you read any management books? You know what I mean? Why not start your own passion business, your own passion project? This is mine. Why not start your own on the side while you're working this job, and then hopefully one day you can make a living doing what you love? Why are we just complaining about it? And another distinction I have to make is, notice how saying rich white people are the reason that you're poor, and then they go on to corporations. Well, wait a minute. They never blame government. This is the problem I have with these people, is the government is the problem. When these people are crying about all this other stuff, what do they want as a solution? They want more regulation. They want more government power, more government control, more redistribution of wealth. And of course, taxation is theft. Just look at my post go to my website and look in the search bar, type in taxation is theft. Look at the post. It's excellent. It's over 2,000 words. And it really makes a strong case, I think, that taxation is theft. So when you are asking for the government to redistribute wealth, what you are doing is you are asking the government to go and steal money from that group of people over there and share it with you. Because the people that work at the government, they get paid. They have bills, they have to get paid. They're not working for free here. So they make money off the process. That's what they do for a living. And then they redistribute the wealth. So basically, what these programs are doing is basically these people are getting in business with the government to take money from the people that are creating the jobs, the people that are creating the wealth. That's what it is. And it's easy for the government to pitch that to the poor people. As long as you've got poor people and you've got rich people, the government can always be like, hey, they got a bunch of money over there. You want us to go take some of their stuff and split it with you? Poor people are like, yeah, let's do that. All morals just go out the window. Like they just forget that, hey, look, that's these people's earned profit. The next part is there is no such thing as a welfare queen. I mean, basically what they're saying in here is that, where is the line? It basically says that white people have been, it's propaganda, it says it's made up. It's propaganda designed to make you think people of color are lazy and want a free ride at your expense. Blah, 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 blah. Listen to this. It literally says this. Generations and generations of white people have been programmed to be racist, even if it's to their own detriment. What? We've been programmed to be racist? We've been programmed to be lazy, and the welfare programs entice us to be lazy. It's a welfare trap. If you can only make $8 an hour at a job, but you can make the equivalent just living off of welfare, why would you have a job? So it just makes it not make sense for people to work in a lot of cases. Like, let me go ahead and let's look at this. So here's states with higher welfare recipients than employed population. There's 11 states where there's more people on welfare than there are employed. Like, look at these stats. The average welfare recipient receives $1,000 a month in benefits. 39 states pay more in welfare than an $8 an hour job. 6 states pay more in welfare than a $12 per hour job. And 8 states pay more in welfare than the average salary of a U.S. teacher. And that's government, okay? So, when you can make more money doing nothing than you can for working, it just doesn't make economic sense to even have a job. So, there's a lot that goes wrong with the welfare system, because people can just stay on it forever. They pay you more if there's no man in the house, which kind of like skews things in that direction. That's a big problem that we have today. That's actually a big problem with, they're talking about black people, brown people, and all this other stuff. Blacks statistically have a lot more. I think like 71% is the last number I heard of black families have a single mother, and that leads to crime and poverty, and obviously not good. The family unit is broken up, not something that they can change. But when the welfare system is there saying, hey, look, don't worry, don't try to make it happen with your man, don't try to stick together, we're going to take care of you instead. You know, women are incentivized to, like, if their husband isn't providing, or their boyfriend, baby daddy, or whatever isn't providing, and they can get more money if he's not living with them, then they might just be like, get out of here, So whenever you make it convenient, they're basically subsidizing poverty, because as long as the government has poor people, they have a reason to exist. They always have a population to pitch their services to and say, hey, you need us, want us to steal money from those people? That we got you, that we're good at that. So the government always needs poor people, so they incentivize people for being lazy, and then if you enter the workforce, they basically penalize you by making you pay taxes, and they take away your benefits. So there are solutions. There's a book called Overcoming Welfare. So like, for example, this is a little bit off topic, but for example, what they could do is they could make it temporary and make people actually do something to stay on there, and not just look for a job or whatever. But there's other ways that we could do it. But the system is counting on there being a welfare state. So let's keep going through this post, because this isn't it, and I know this is a long. But anyway, I grew up poor. I remember the food stamps, the actual like paper food stamps. We used to get the government food. It would come in. The peanut butter would be so tough, so dry that you couldn't even scoop it with a butter knife. So I mean, I've been there. I've been poor. I've lived in the projects. Our rent was $2 a month at the first house I can clearly remember living in when I was in kindergarten. And guess what? The black kids used to beat me up. I was the only white kid, one of the only white kids in the whole neighborhood, and they used to beat me up. I didn't even know what racism was. I didn't know that they were so violent against me because I was white. Okay, so here we go. The war on drugs and the war on crime are fake. Okay, I mean, I agree with that. I agree. But then, they go into race again, basically saying that the programs target minority communities and keep the private prison system making billions. Again, why are they only focusing on, I say they, but I mean she. But these are common arguments. So when I say they, I mean these kind of people on the left, whatever. So, again, private prison. Not all prisons are private. What about the public one? What about the government-ran ones? What, you think the government doesn't have any incentive to, it's first of all, it's not the private prisons that are making the government do this, right? The government's not like, no, these people have a Fourth Amendment, they you cannot be pulling people over and searching their car, and the private prisons is like, no, cops, you guys do that. It's the government is the one that launched the war on drugs, not no private corporations. Okay, so the rich white people that are causing these problems, we need to point our finger at the right people, and that is government. If you look at my other videos, you're gonna see, like, for example, I have a video called "What If the Government Had to Earn Our Money?" It's like anything else, if they had to earn our money, they would be doing a much better job. They wouldn't be harassing us and taking the money that we give them and blowing it like the way that they do. If you had a company and you didn't have to earn people's business, the government would force everyone to buy your product. Who's to say that you're not gonna give us an inferior product and charge us top dollar for it? How capitalism self-regulates itself is it prevents people from doing that, because if you are doing that, then someone else will come in and they won't be so greedy. And that process continues until the consumer is getting the best prices, the best value, because of competition. So, yeah, I mean, they basically go through this whole war on drugs thing about how it's all about race, and basically any white person that gets caught up in it, it's just collateral damage. But the thing is I got into a lot of trouble. Okay, I mean, I'm curious how much this lady knows about the war on drugs and how much problem she's had with it. Probably none. I would say none, but I don't know her. But I know me. I was white, and I I have PTSD just from getting harassed by cops. I used to love getting a car. I started planning to buy my car when I was 13 years old at least. I had a job lined up as soon as I turned 14 when I was legally able to work. And if the government wouldn't have prohibited it, I would have got a job at 13. But instead, I cut grass, and did whatever I could to make money. And as soon as I turned 16, I had a car. I had the money saved up to buy a car, and I bought one right away. Now, I don't care about cars. I feel like it's a death trap. Not only can you get in an accident while you're on the road, but what really concerns me is that you're like fish, and they're fishermen. The cops are fishermen. They're just ready to harass you anytime. They just turn on those lights, and you have no control of the situation. I hate it. You think all the times they harassed me, arrested me, took me to jail and everything, they were just like, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were white. Ooh, no. No. So, this lady's really just talking out of her ass. I don't see that at all. Obviously, I can already hear some people like, oh, well, it does affect colored people disproportionately and all this other stuff. There's an argument for that, but it's really not a strong argument. It's really not. I've lived in, as a child and as an adult, lived in black neighborhoods. You go into a black neighborhood and you can see the difference. They, sell drugs right there on the streets and stuff like that. I've been in the courtrooms, hundreds and hundreds of felony court cases. The black people go in there, and they go in there with sagging pants, t-shirt on, and mumbling and everything else like that. And I would go in there in a shirt and tie. I hate a shirt and tie. That's not me. You know what I mean? But I would play their game in the courtroom. And little things like that also take into a role. It's not just my skin color. Like when they was pulling me over, harassing me, it's because I was bumping rap music, loud 12-inch subs, with the bass just, and I'm riding around at 2 a.m. That's why they was pulling me over. It wasn't because of my skin color. So when these people are doing the same thing, it's the same thing. It's not just about skin color. Yeah, they profile. But again, that's government. That's government. It's not the she solely mentioned the private prisons. And it's not just the private prisons. It's the government that's raising that. So, this is, I won't get into this one, but they're basically telling you, whatever. I won't even get into it. It's stupid. Wealthy white people love to see poor people fighting amongst ourselves. So that's what's going on. If we dislike each other over things like race and all this other stuff, it's like, you're the one being racist, lady. You're the one that's, every paragraph has to do with race. What are you talking about? Rich people have convinced working class people that unions are bad. There's another side to all these different stories. The unions can make people, like, they can say, hey, people have to make $25 an hour to work this job. Well, what if someone has equal skills and they're willing to work for $15? Now a company can't hire them. So what that does is it limits opportunities to new employees. It raises a barrier of entry. That's how corporations, whether it's corporations or unions, what they do is they use the government to create these barriers of entry so they have less competition. And that's what regulation does and all this other stuff. But I'm not going to sit here and defend every single point. It would take me forever. Here she goes on about the minimum wage. Well, I have a post. You could just go to my website, theawarenessrevolution.com, and the search box, type in minimum wage. I have 10 reasons against minimum wage. There's a podcast, so you've got audio, you've got video, you've got the post, everything's in there. So I'm not going to go into great detail over the minimum wage because I've already done it in great detail. And I used to believe in the minimum wage. I used to want it to be raised higher. But, I grew up. That was when I used to work for minimum wage. I didn't understand economics the way that I do now. And it sounds good. Of course, we all want people to get paid more, but making the government raise the minimum wage doesn't make people get paid more. It only limits opportunities. It only says if you do hire someone, you got to pay them this much. But it doesn't mean you have to hire the person. Because, as you'll see, like, for example, look at this post. Walmart hikes minimum wage, announces layoffs on the same day. It's all mathematical calculation. The more that they have to pay their employees, the less employees that they can have, the less hours they can have them work. It just goes on. Continuing to support politicians who give tax breaks to the rich is never going to make your life better. People get this so wrong too. First of all, you can't give tax breaks to the poor because the poor don't even pay tax. The 1% pays about half of all the federal income taxes, and when you look at like the top 10%, it's like 70 to 90%. I forget what the number is, but the top 10%, which would be like the rich, they pay almost all the income taxes. All right? And the reason why you can't give tax breaks to the poor is because the poor ain't paying taxes. About half of the people don't even pay taxes. And about the same amount of money, or about the same amount of people are on welfare. So you've got half of the population who are getting welfare and are not paying anything in taxes. And then yet they want the rich to pay their fair share. There's just something not right about that. Well, that concludes her post. Let me go over a couple quick statistics with you, though. About half of the world's millionaires live in the United States. So, really, when you compare us to other countries, we're pretty well off. So, what a lot of people don't realize is that they are among the 1% when you look at the world as a whole. So they may not be part of the America's 1%, the United States is 1%, but they are the 1% in the world. So if they want to redistribute the wealth of the 1% of the United States, why not do it globally? There's other people in the world that need the money worse than people in the United States. So why not give their money away? Anyways, so let's look at some of these statistics. So one thing I want to point out right here, it says current projections are that 1,700 new U.S. millionaires are made every day. 1,700 new millionaires every day. So the evil, white, rich men aren't the only rich men that exist, right? First of all, they're not all white. As if there's no black rich people, there's no black successful entrepreneurs, there's no black employers, what? So are the white business owners, they don't care about you, but the black ones do? This is just, it's racist. Anytime, I'm digressing here, but anytime you have, special favors, whether it's in favor of or against a certain race, that's racism. So saying, oh, white business owners are racist, they don't care about you, that's racist. But anyway, it's not the same people at the top. The top people are always shuffling from the bottom and moving up to the top. A lot of their, so it says right here, 80%, according to this, survey, showed 86% of millionaires said they made their own wealth. They didn't inherit it. 86%. So, is it just only people that don't care about you? Those are the people that are allowed to rise up the ranks? It doesn't even make sense, because if you look at the numbers, Asians make more money on average than white people. So, if the game is rigged in favor of white people, then why do the Asians end up doing better than the average white, It says on average it takes a millionaire 32 years to hit the 1 million mark. And in fact, the same study showed that 80% of current millionaires didn't reach $1 million until at least 50 years old. So you know what this tells me? It looks like to get to this upper class, it takes a long time. It takes a lot of work. says research conducted showed that 86% of wealthy people who work full time put in 50 hours or more each week at their career. You know what I mean? Like, so, this is giving you an idea of what the rich people do, what they, the behavior that likely leads them to becoming a millionaire. Now, living on welfare and complaining about rich white people, I don't think that makes the list. I don't think that's how you get rich in this country. But that is how you get poor. Because that mentality, the victim mentality, makes you discouraged from a system. Who would want to participate in a system where the people at the top don't care about you? You see, this lady is spreading a mentality that just perpetuates poverty. And she thinks she's spreading truth. But, that would discourage me. Like, if you say, hey, your boss doesn't care about you, well, then I don't care about him. I want to be a good employee. And then you never get a raise. You never get a promotion. Let's learn a little bit more about these millionaires. So, said 53% of self-made millionaires were obsessed with becoming rich before they were rich. I have to be honest. I have a lot of these traits. I've always put in more than 50 hours a week for work. I mean, I can't help it. It says 67% of wealthy people watch less than 1 hour of TV daily, and 63% spend less than 1 hour daily surfing the internet. I spend more than that. I'm guilty. I can't help it. But I'm always in front of a computer. I work on a computer now, so I've got to manage my time better. I get sucked into trying to clear things up like this with people on social media. Which, by the way, if you're on social media, like my Facebook page, I don't do much on it, but I have a Facebook group too, and they're both called The Awareness Revolution. But yeah, and again, you guys, if you guys are still watching, hit that thumbs up, you guys. I'm working hard over here, and I've got no intent of making a penny off of this. I'm just trying to clear this up because I see it taking over my news feed. Racism everywhere about the white people. It's driving me nuts. And it's not just colored people that are posting it. I mean, it's white people calling out white people for being racist. Oh man, 2018. This is crazy. Now look, I don't want to be the guy taking up for Walmart. I don't shop at Walmart. I gave up on Walmart a long time ago. But one thing I can't take away from them is that they do provide good prices. So, while this article is basically putting down Walmart, basically saying that they're like exploiting everyone, what they are failing to mention, I don't know if it's on purpose or if ladies never even thought of it, but Walmart's low prices raise the standard of living for everyone. So what that means is that even the people that work at Walmart, they can buy more stuff with their paychecks because Walmart has stuff cheaper than everyone else. So the CEO of Walmart or, the Walton family, they can create a billion-dollar empire while raising the standard of living for everyone at the same time. See, it's called the fixed pie fallacy. There's a pizza, and it's only so big, and if you take a big chunk out, then that means there's less for everyone else. That's not the way wealth is. Wealth is created. It's infinite. So them building up a billion-dollar empire doesn't make people less rich. That doesn't impoverish the population. In fact, it raises their standard of living because now everyone can buy cheaper goods. This post is dispelling a myth of taxpayers subsidizing Walmart's low wages. And what they explain is that if Walmart were to raise their wages, they would hire less people, and then more people would be without a job and would end up being on welfare. And then the people that are working for Walmart I don't think they go into this part, but then the people that still have the higher paying jobs at Walmart, they'll have higher taxes because they're having to pay for more people on the welfare. So, we've got to incentivize people to work and be productive. And, we have to remember that employers are giving employees the best opportunity. If it's not the best opportunity for the person, then they shouldn't take that job. All right? So instead of complaining about Walmart and what they pay, what I recommend is starting your own job and paying people better. Go to Walmart and say, hey, look, I got a job. I'm looking for someone to work for me. I know you're only making $8. I'll give you 15. That's a solution. All right. This lady didn't give one damn solution in her entire long, boring, ridiculous post. All right. On theawarenessrevolution.com, I've got lots of content where I go over both the problems and the solutions, which is important. And in pretty much every case, the government is the problem, not the solution. That's why healthcare is more expensive than it should be. That's why college education is more expensive than it should be. It's just the nature of government. So thanks you guys for watching. I hope to see you in another video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.